Today on the Morning Edition, nearly $20 million is coming to rural Alaska from the federal government. And while Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski is glad to have it, we'll tell you why she says it's simply not enough. Plus, the U.S. Secretary of Education paid a visit to Matsu schools on Thursday on part of her tour through different states. We'll tell you what was said and why she was here. Plus, this mom of two little toddlers is bringing home the dough, or rather making it all happen right from her own kitchen, running a little bakery to help make ends meet. We'll show you her story as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Friday morning, everyone. We've made it to the end of the work week, and a rainy one at that. Is that still what we're seeing outside, Aaron?
Yeah, specifically as we head into the weekend. That's where we're going to begin to see widespread activity. Now, thankfully, for most of this week, we did see ample dry time, particularly for inland locations. That's what we did see yesterday. That's what we're seeing this morning outside of some light sprinkle activity. But we will begin to watch some widespread rain arriving as we welcome in the evening hours and then carrying us on into our Saturday. We're currently at 38 degrees in Anchorage with winds remaining fairly light. We're still going to continue to favor at least some breezy conditions across parts of South Central. And you can see those temperatures this morning anywhere from freezing in Soldotna to those low to mid 30s as you head out towards eastern parts of Prince William Sound. But overall, not a bad start to the morning as we are much drier considering the wet weather that we have been holding on to for really the past few weeks across South Central. Now, while things are dry, we still have some light activity as you head out towards coastal areas of Prince William Sound, more so towards Cordova. And we are seeing some light drizzle activity lifting through parts of the Susitna Valley this morning. But we'll largely stay dry for the first part of your Friday. And then as we head into the evening hours, we will begin to see our rain building back in across South Central as that lifts in from the south. So that is going to lead to a wet start to our weekend. Widespread rain does look possible for coastal areas. Inland locations will also see our decent shot of rain. And we're also going to begin to see widespread activity returning to southeast as well, which is already underway for your Friday morning. Now, coming up in my latest forecast, or for the overall forecast, we'll have the latest on breakup conditions, latest reports on what we're seeing across the state. Widespread rain, as we've already been mentioning, is returning to South Central and Southeast. While we're still holding on to somewhat cool weather through the interior, we're going to be chasing the lower 60s next week for Fairbanks and many locations of the interior. So spring will make a return to parts of Alaska. I'll have details on that in a 7-day forecast coming up.
New money from the feds is coming to Alaska, but Senator Lisa Murkowski says it's not nearly enough. 16 villages will benefit, but changes to the land, in one case, making the ground jello-like, mean more help and money is needed. $20 million will be spread across 16 different communities for supply needs and infrastructure repairs. The majority of the fund, $16 million, will be going to the community of Chafornak to repair permafrost damage and curb the threat of erosion. The remaining $4 million will be spread across 15 other communities, mostly used for supplies like water, fuel, and firewood. But two of those communities, Kipnuk and Quigilingok, haven't even returned after evacuating following Typhoon Halong last fall. And Murkowski said it's not likely anytime this year.
We heard very powerful testimony from Lucy Martin, who is from Quigilingok. And she said, we can't go back there. The land is not safe. The land, she said, was like walking on a waterbed, like on jello.
Murkowski is speaking about testimony she heard Wednesday in a hearing of the U.S. Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, which she chairs. Much of that hearing was spent trying to determine a better way to respond to natural disasters, especially fall storms like Halong.
These are the types of forward-leaning, innovative conversations that we need to have, not waiting for the next disaster, not waiting for the federal government to come in and say, well, here's an individual assistance check, but you've got to move through all these steps. We're kind of on our own up here.
A financial disaster could also hurt remote parts of the state because of the disruption in the Strait of Hormuz. The senator says many villages could see their gas prices increase 50% or more.
They're anticipating price increases when the spring, the summer barge comes here in about a month, a little less than a month. They're expecting increases of at least 50%. you put this on top of already high prices. We might anticipate prices as much as $15, $17 a gallon for fuel.
Speaking of gas prices, according to AAA, the average price for a gallon of gas here in Alaska is currently up to $5.24 a gallon, up 61 cents over just 1 month ago. The national average is sitting at $4.54. According to NPR PBS poll, 8 in 10 Americans say filling up is putting a strain on their household budget. And it's bad news for President Donald Trump. 63% of Americans surveyed placed most of the blame for higher gas prices on him. The U.S. Secretary of Education visited 2 Matsu schools Thursday during a 24-hour stop. Linda McMahon used the visit to promote a plan to give states more control over federal education money. She visited Matsu Career and Tech School and Connect Charter School as part of a tour she says will take her to every state. Her visit comes as the Trump administration pushes to shrink the U.S. Department of Education and send more federal education money directly to the states.
And allow the superintendents, the commissioners, and principals and parents working together with school boards and governors to say, this is where we need to spend this money in this state.
Alaska Education Commissioner Dina Bishop backed that approach, saying it would reduce bureaucracy and give states more local control. But the state's Teachers Association warns the plan could hurt public schools and some of the most vulnerable students. 1 week after the State Board of Education approved the application for Pearl Creek Charter School, the Fairbanks School Board directed their legal team to appeal the decision. Those involved in the charter expressed a lack of surprise and disappointment with the board's decision, but leaders of the school's academic policy committee say they still plan to open in the fall. According to the letter from the district, the board cited the costs this will put on the budget and the precedent involved.
We were contacted by various school districts and boards around the state and the Alaska Association of School Boards urging us to appeal because of the precedent that this would set for the authority that a school board really has to control its local district.
I'm guessing that those superintendents and people from other districts don't know the nuance of this story. They sure haven't reached out to us. They don't know what our experience has been like. So in my mind, the precedent that would be set right now is that there are no longer checks and balances that community members can use.
That will have to be decided by a Superior Court judge if an appeal is filed by the district. Also up to the court whether the school will remain open during litigation. Inlet View Elementary School's boundary expanded, and now neighborhood students from Government Hill will go to that new school. Jace Bertrand spoke with administrators to learn what they hope their program can bring to the Anchorage community.
With the cut of a ribbon, a brand new elementary school was welcomed to Anchorage. Only Inlet View isn't exactly brand new.
Students actually moved in January, but we had a snow day when we were scheduled to have this. So we moved it to May, and it's just a time for us to come together as a community.
Inlet View is a special addition to the Anchorage School District, being the second International Baccalaureate or IB program in Alaska, and the first primary years program in the state.
The new building has provided an opportunity for Government Hill to just focus on Spanish immersion and for Inlet View to welcome in those students and offer straight grade levels.
Just being able to be present to help students become the IB learners that we're all given innately as far as, scholarship. We're looking at student voice. We're looking at reflection and action upon that reflection.
Inlet View Principal Dr. Arthur Sosa says that fifth graders will be able to showcase skills in communication and research before moving on to higher education.
They are better prepared when they go on to middle school and high school.
Dr. Sosa says he hopes that Inlet View will be a key part of expanding IB programs across Alaska, including for middle schoolers. Jace Bertrand, Alaska's news source.
Still ahead on the Morning Edition, taking a step back in time.
I'm Georgina Fernandez. After 50 years, we are finally learning the secrets that one class of 1976 buried in this time capsule. I'll tell you more coming up.
Widespread rain set to make a return to South Central as we welcome in the weekend. I'll have more on that as well as the latest breakup conditions across the state. But first at sunrise, 5:30 in Anchorage, 4:51 in Fairbanks. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in. 13 minutes past the hour. And before we head into weather, just a quick look. We're checking up on the puppies at Denali National Park. Maybe are they all in their little house, Aaron? Just a few minutes ago, they were all outside playing. Now we just see Mama walking around.
Yeah, it's probably time for, breakfast. Maybe they're just going to take a little slumber before the morning really kicks off. And speaking of the morning, we are seeing some drier conditions across South Central, but we are watching the return to some widespread rain as we welcome in the weekend. Also, next week, 60s look possible for the interior. So we are going to see some springtime warmth building in across parts of the state. Of course, ice jam still a concern across Alaska, more so as you head out towards the Kuskokwim River and then areas of the interior. Now, latest observations showing southwest Alaska through parts of South Central and into southern parts of the interiors where we're really beginning to see those rivers beginning to open up. As you head through a good portion of western Alaska as well as the slope, we are still seeing mostly ice. But out towards the Yukon near Circle, we are continuing to see that ice moving smoothly. And then along the Kuskokwim River out towards Stony River, the water is high but has dropped. That ice jam is about 16 miles downstream from Aniak. And we are seeing, again, these winter weather or the weather alerts showing those flood watches as well as flood advisories that are in effect just northeast of Fairbanks. And then as you head out towards southwest Alaska for the Kuskokwim River. Now, that flood advisory is until 9 p.m. This is flooding caused by an ice jam, which is occurring near Aniak. The ice jam is causing river levels to rise upstream. Now, the west end of the runway, the back road leading to the barge landing, and then gravel pit continue to flood this morning. Now, when it comes to the flood watch, that's for Aniak as well as Calskag through this evening as well. Just stay aware of those water levels. As anytime these ice jams do occur, those water levels could rapidly rise, and you're going to see that drop in the water levels once that ice jam does officially break away and move back downstream. Temperatures this morning, teens along the slope, 30s as you head across a good portion of the state, 20s out west, and then through as you head through the Aleutians, we've got ongoing fairly quiet weather that has been with us. Now, we are going to be watching increasing rainfall building in across South Central and Southeast as we close out this week and welcome in the weekend. Southeast, you'll see widespread activity for South Central. We'll begin to see the rain arriving through the overnight or later this evening. Kodiak already beginning to see that rain this morning. And then you can see as we head through the overnight hours on into our Saturday, we'll see some widespread rain building in across coastal areas of South Central. Inland locations, we'll see anywhere from about 2/10 of an inch to about 1/2 inch of rainfall. So we'll still see some wet conditions. Nowhere near as wet as what the coast will see, but much like we did see for Monday with that system that moved through, that's what we can anticipate as we head into the overnight hours on into our Saturday. So be prepared for a wet weekend or at least a wet Saturday across South Central. We'll see 1 to 3+ inches across coastal areas as we head from today on into Sunday morning. And then you can see inland areas of South Central. Some areas will make an approach near 1/2 inch of rainfall. So we're going to continue to hold on to this wet weather pattern into your Mother's Day. We'll keep with a chance for showers. Of course, not as widespread as what we did see Saturday. And then as we welcome in next week, some drier weather is going to make an appearance with those temperatures near 50, although we will keep some isolated showers around.
Some school stories fade with time. This one sat in the ground waiting for its moment. Now, as Georgina Fernandez reports, 50 years after it was sealed, a time capsule at Chugiak High is about to be opened.
Everywhere you turn, there are little signs of the classes that came before you.
I definitely like to preserve the history.
Chugiak High School seniors are leaving their mark, painting their senior bricks.
Tomorrow is our seniors' last day.
One of their last messages to their school as a class.
Is that the class of 1976?
Sure is.
From 50 years ago is about to have their message revealed.
What do you think might be inside it?
Based on the difficulty of getting it out, I am wondering if there are state or national secrets buried in there.
A rusted, mud-covered time capsule.
This is how it came out of the ground, with the exception of this bag here.
sealed by the class of 1976. Meant to be open 50 years later in 2026.
And for generations, this is where that time capsule has lived, as countless classes have spent time in this courtyard, having lunch or just hanging out, many of them curious what exactly was in here.
I have no idea.
It's been a mystery even for 1998 alumna turned principal Megan Hatswell.
And we walked over it and through it, and it was always just something that was in the courtyard.
As all the yearbook passages help tell the story.
The time capsule was important in making the students and the community members more aware of their own future in connection with our country's 200th anniversary.
A class leaving a piece of themselves behind, now ready to be seen again. Now, the class of 2026 will seal their story.
They will be bringing the items that they themselves want to place in the new time capsule,
building on to the high school's legacy for the next generation to discover. Georgianne Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
The time capsule from 1976 will be opened this afternoon at 3:30. I wonder what incredible glimpses into the past we'll get, or if maybe the principal is right and there are state secrets buried within. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.